Gruesome Magazine.
Hello, once again, I'm your host, Doc Rotten, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Dave Dreher, Christopher G. Mohr, and myself will take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we're reviewing Five Nights at Freddy's, which is available in theaters and streaming on Peacock beginning October 27, 2023. And as we were recording this, it has broken all kinds of records, and it actually doubled the expectations, which is not often heard of, if at all. It's kind of remarkable how successful this movie is, but we'll get into it. But before we do, let me introduce my crew, starting off with my co-host, Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
Under promise and overperform. That's what I always say.
That's actually the
There
best.
you go.
That is the number
I'm
one
doing
way to
great.
please
I'm doing
people.
I'm
Yep.
happy to be here.
Also joining this week is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl. How you doing?
I'm great. I mean, it is the night before Halloween, so
It is. It's
I'm ready.
All Hallows Eve.
Mhm. Hallows Eve. Yeah.
Eve.
I don't think that works
Yay.
that way, but we'll try. All right. Also joining us
Sure.
is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Mohr.
G. Mohr. Like the bow tie.
What's up? Just eating some cold pizza from my favorite pizza place. And yeah, just hanging in there, ready to talk about some creepy animatronics.
Yes, you are.
Yay.
Oh man, it's gonna be so much fun. All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at this film. We're gonna give you our first impressions. The first impressions will be spoiler free, and then we're gonna get into discussion. We'll get into some spoilers, and for this film, there are spoilers to be had.
Oh,
And
that's
then-
so, where did you get that?
Alamo
Yes.
Draft House.
Really? They
Yeah,
gave y'all
let's-
little cupcakes?
And a little pizza and a little hat.
Here, hang on, man. Let's let everybody take a look at it. Here, show us.
Yeah, I want to. That is. So,
It came in our pizza box along with the Alamo hat.
That's so
and of course
cute.
of course the pizza box, of course.
I mean, I did get a T-shirt, so that was cool. I do
Yeah.
like the T-shirt too. It's nice and soft.
I had to pay extra for it, but
Mine was free, but also, so that's
not the
cool.
same.
There you go. And we'll wrap things up with our score 1 to 5 and our favorite.
I got this Chewbacca.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that's my favorite animatronic in this
There you
movie.
go. There you go. Oh my gosh, that's the train derailing right there.
Yes.
We're we hope you enjoy this review and many others that we have on the site. If you do, please hit the like, subscribe, and share with a friend buttons. Every little click helps, and every little click helps us find more horror fans just like you, just like this film is going to find new horror fans. We'll talk about that here in a little bit.
Woof.
Woof, she says. Woof. All right, let's get into it. Let's start off with the card, shall we? Five Nights at Freddy's. I keep wanting to drop that S. I don't know why. 2023, Universal and Blumhouse. Available in theaters and streaming on Peacock beginning October 27, 2023. Synopsis: a troubled security guard begins working at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. During his first night on the job, he realizes that the night shift won't be so easy to get through. Pretty soon, he will unveil what actually happened at Freddy's. Directed by Emma Tammy, written by Scott Cawthon, Seth Cuddleback, or Cuddleback. Oh my, there's no L. Why did I put an L in that? Well, we're going to keep going. And Emma Tammy, Chris Lee Hill, and Tyler McIntyre. It's based on the video game series Five Nights at Freddy's by Scott Cawthon. Why do I want to put an R? I'm just inventing new names as we go along. All right, the cast includes Josh Hutcherson, Piper Rubio, Elizabeth Lale, Matthew Lillard, Mary Stuart Masterson, Connor Sterling, David Lind, Christian Stokes, Joseph Peliquin, and Grant Feely.
Some of the names that I think are going to be really hard for you are a breeze, and then you stumble on the easy ones. So it blows my mind every time. I love it.
That's
the fun of it.
My brain is put in sideways. So.
That's the landmine of spelling when it comes to Doc.
Because I'm like, wait, he got that. No problem. Okay, cool.
All right, well, let's start things off. Jeff, you're up first. What is your first impression of Five Nights at Freddy's? You are the target audience. No.
I am.
Keep going.
So the sum total of my experience with Five Nights at Freddy's is a couple of my youngest grandkids played the game a lot, and we're always talking about it and showed me some of it. I played maybe 3 minutes just to kind of get what they were talking about. And I think that was pretty early on. I don't remember what year that was, but anyway, so I'm pretty fresh going into this in terms of what I know about this. So I have no pre-knowledge of anything that they messed up or that didn't fit. And I kind of liked the story, how everything was laid out. I mean, I enjoyed it. I found the plot kind of interesting, and we reveal more and more about Mike's backstory as we go on, and also Vanessa's the cop, and we learn the relationship with Abby, and then the aunt and all that stuff. So and the history of Five Nights at Freddy's. So I enjoyed it, and I think it's because of the success of the game, it's probably a good idea that it was PG-13. We see blood, but we don't see. It's mostly after the fact blood. It's not like ripping with guts coming out and stuff like that, which they could easily have done. And I kind of like the actors and the relationship so good. And Emma Tammy, I'm gonna be positive about her stuff anyway, because I thought The Wind was phenomenal. So
what a great opportunity for
I want her to get more work. So anyway, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's a great opportunity for her to come from The Wind, this little independent horror film, into this thing, and to do so successful her career. It will definitely be interesting to watch it grow, because she's definitely going to get work. It's going to be, she's probably got, her phone was probably ringing off the hook this weekend, I would imagine. Crystal Cleveland, you're up next. What is your first impression of Five Nights at Freddy's?
Okay, so I'm going to start off by saying that I think the cinematography is wonderful. I love the shots. I love the lighting. I love the set design. I love the animatronics.
Yes.
And the sound design associated, well, all the sound design, although they do use one song a lot. What is it? What is it? That Watching You song?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
From the 80s. Yeah.
Like that song played a lot. But the way that they did the animatronic sounds is amazing, and the way that they did the steps, they made him seem really heavy. Just Foxy. I love Foxy. Foxy's probably my favorite. Foxy's the one that does that that sound, which is awesome. And they did an excellent job of recreating the look and honestly the feel of the game. I think the acting was phenomenal. I love Matthew Lillard. Like, he is so great, so wonderful. Josh was great too. The little girl was
she was perfect,
so
right?
Cute. Yes, she is
Very
so
good.
Oh my God, her sweet little face and her I was like, oh girl, I just pinch those little cheeks, pinch the little life out of you cutie patootie. Like I said, the set design was great. I had some issues with the story, mainly as it relates to the lore and how they mashed up and changed characters, which I'm not super happy about. But you know, like Christopher said before the show, I didn't create it, so it's none of my business.
Oh no, bring in the preacher.
So I get why they made it PG-13. I have no problem with it being PG-13. I think that it had enough, scares as far as like the off-screen stuff. I was actually kind of surprised that they showed more than I anticipated. There was one scene where they just had someone get murked after murked after murked, and I was surprised. And they had my boy Corey Kenshin in it, who I love. I love Corey. He's fabulous and precious. And then Matt, that guy. He's okay.
Corey was the cab driver, right?
Yeah, he's a cab driver. And he is the one that has the after credit scene, the little second little blip. That's all it is. But yeah, so I enjoyed the movie, but I also felt like it was like perfectly mid, only because of the story. And that's a me issue. That's a me thing. I think I'm glad that a lot of people are enjoying it.
Yeah. Well, you shared that with like a lot of people, but a lot of other people didn't, right? So,
Yes.
like you said, you were saying the pre-show was polarizing, so that'll be interesting to talk about here in a few minutes. Christopher G. Mohr, what is your first impression of Five Nights at Freddy's?
Well, let me just preface this and say that C. Robert Gargill talked about how much money this made and how it's a good thing for horror. This is the Gremlins for a new generation, and I can totally see that. This film was not made for me though. And it has really great production design. I think that the Jim Henson group made all the animatronics, and they work really well. But I think the problem is that polish aspect of it makes it feel like it's an episode of Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of the Dark? It feels like an episode from one of those shows, and that's fine. And I think this is a good entry level horror film. The audience that I saw it, the majority, I mean, I felt like I probably could have been father to the majority of the people in my theater. And maybe I was. And they ate it up. They seemed to get all the YouTuber Matt Pat or whatever when he showed up. They were like, and I was like, I have no idea who this person is. I've never felt so old in my life. But I found the film to be very boring. I feel like Vanessa's Kids. I was like, I looked at my watch actually a few times. I was like, how much longer has this film got going? Because it was not. I mean, visually it was interesting. The little girl was precious and adorable. She was great. She felt like a real kid. But I found the story elements. As a filmmaker, I kept thinking, this is made by Blumhouse. This feels like had elements of Black Phone and Insidious, in it a little bit, with killer kids and callbacks to other things involving a loss of a family member. I don't know. I think visually it was shot well, but then the story elements don't make a lot of sense. And maybe again, maybe I'm not the right age group for that. I mean, at the end I kept making, I'm not going to be spoilerish, but the very end, I was like, how in the world all this stuff happens and nobody's questioning anything? I don't know. I know. I was like, this is a dream. This doesn't make sense to me. And I think that some of the logic in the main actor, I was like, I didn't like that. It made me mad. So there's just a lot of elements story-wise and character-wise that didn't make a lot of sense. But visually, I think the look of the things were, but it just felt polished. And then also, I guess I never saw humor as being a part of the games, but I've only played the game once. So again, sure, there's all these kind of lore. I know there's all kinds of lore that's part of this, but they made the characters almost kind of humorous in parts where people were laughing in the theater. So I was like, I wasn't really sure. Are we supposed to be scared? And there weren't a lot of jump scares in it for me, at least.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, overall, it felt like I was watching it for 5 nights because it was just like so long.
No.
And but again, I'm sure if I was a fan of the games and the lore, I probably would be excited about certain parts of it. But again, it felt so overly polished in parts that it didn't feel like it was a horror film of sorts. It just felt kind of goofy. I would love to have seen an R-rated version of it. But I guess we got that with other films of its ilk.
Megan.
But yeah,
Megan. Like Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland, I think took it a little bit further. But
I was thinking Megan had a PG-13 and an R version that we got to see later.
Oh,
it would have been cool to have 2 versions.
Yeah, although I will say the aunt. Which I was like, who is this girl? I was like, oh my God, that's Mary Stuart Masterson parading as Julie Bowen from Modern Family.
She was, exactly. Oh my God.
And I kept thinking, I was like, at first I thought, is it Julie Bowen? No, that's oh God, it's the girl from the 80s, some kind of wonderful 90s films, Benny and June. I'm like, oh my God, I feel old now. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking. I think the film for me felt as cold as the animatronics. It just didn't. I don't mean it. I don't hate it. It didn't have enough.
We're not going to put that
flair
on the
for
box.
me to fully enjoy it. Maybe, but again, I'm probably not the right audience for it, and that's okay. I'm okay with that.
And I don't think I am either. But I had a great time with this. It totally got me in every which way. I love the characters. I like the story. I like the tone. I like that, the way that it was presented to us. I was expecting something a little different. I never really played the game. I knew of the characters. I knew of the game. My kids played it, and they were telling me about it. And I've seen, I know of it because of what we do, right? Because we cover, we're a horror site, so it, Five Nights at Freddy's has come up dozens of times, right? But I had a blast with this. I enjoyed almost every aspect of this. But of course, what am I, Crystal?
You're a Blumhumper. And I was going to say that. I was absolutely going to say that as soon as you were finished.
Yep.
Blumhumper.
Yep.
Blumhumper.
And so take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm a little biased, I suppose, but I thoroughly enjoyed this. I think I really liked the cast. I thought Matthew Mohr was so much fun in this. And I've always wanted him to have more work. And this just showed. This was just an illustration of how great an actor he is, and he should be doing so much more. And I'm hoping he'll get more work from this because he was fantastic, and the way he portrayed the character behind the desk, and then later on, I really had it. The animatronics though really won me over. Even though we didn't get, the bloody gore that, maybe we want as horror fans, or we got, basically just jump scares, except for one kill. There was one kill in it that I thought, wow, they really did that in this PG-13 movie. That's cool. But the whole cupcake, even though it was
the cupcake was precious.
It's the favorite stuff, right? I loved it. Like that one. And how they wanted the whole thing about what their goal was, the things behind the animatronics, and also our lead character. There was actually a lot of story kind of going on, even though they don't really spend a whole lot of time with any one of it to develop it for maybe as far enough as they could. But it's already an hour and 50 minutes. So I don't know what else we could. You probably don't want to put too much more into this. You probably want to take more stuff out. To be honest, like Christopher was saying, it felt like it was long. I didn't feel like it was long. I thought it was only an hour and a half until I looked and saw it was an hour and 50. So it didn't feel that long to me. So I thoroughly enjoyed this. It's likely going to be in my top 10 for the year, to be honest.
Oh God.
Whoa.
Yep.
Really?
Good for you, man.
Yep. I really, this hit me good. Yep.
So wait, okay. So how many Blumhouse movies? Because you're probably going to put Megan.
Well, 10.
So you can have 10.
I got to pick 10 Blumhouse.
That makes sense.
The Blumhouse 10.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest. Though Megan, I don't think I ever watched the PG-13 version of Megan though. So maybe that's why I really enjoyed Megan so much more, because I into some of those.
Oh, I loved Megan. I loved
Megan. It wasn't
I did
that
too.
much different. It wasn't that
I
much
did too.
different, but...
No, PG-13 was just as good. But
Oh, okay, yeah, because I feel I enjoyed Megan, even though I love Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, the story is so effed up. It is so right up my alley. It's so messed up, but the movie was so different from that. I guess that's why
they toned that down, right?
Big time. Big time.
Well, you still have a guy kidnapping people and killing kids, so it's not exactly for 5-year-olds. It's definitely it still has a dark edge to it. That could, in the same way that most people don't think about Freddy Krueger being
it's not the Sound of Music
killer.
Yeah.
So it still has a dark edge to it. And I will say, when we, we're in Spoilerville, but when we get that shadow version of somebody getting ripped in half,
the Bite of 87,
the young kids hooped and hollered like, ah! So I'm kind of thinking they probably could have gotten away with more like visual killing and it would have been okay for the audience, because I really felt like, yeah, they did. I mean, granted, I don't think that the games aren't really known for too much gore, right? They're just mainly just like show up and kill you, and they don't really show much. So really, you're not really basing it off of any, like, there's not like heads rolling as much. But
you know what they do? It's the books. Like, okay, so this is not going to happen in the movies, even though they're going to do 3 movies, like, because, you know, Matthew Lillard said he signed on for 3. Like, so even though they're going to do 3, they're never going to do this. Basically, Mike Schmidt, like, technically he's supposed to be William's son, which he's not in this world. They made Vanessa, who's another character, very confusing. It doesn't matter. Basically, the animatronics of Elizabeth, who would be his sister, which would have been like Vanessa, who becomes Circus Baby. Anyway, they wear him as a skin suit. They literally, that's how that guy dies. Wait, he
wears
a skin suit.
An actual
human
body as a...
Yeah, they wear him as a skin suit so that they can go out and... Yeah, y'all. Like, that's how dark the story is. It's so messed up. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
The highlight of this movie is the animatronics, and they do such a great job with like, there's one scene where my character's trying to get by them, and they're up on the stage doing their Chuck E. Cheese bit, and
then when it turns,
and they turn, and it was like, oh my god, they actually made this character have 2 different feels in you know, in the same scene, and I thought that was just a great example of how wonderful they accomplished these characters.
I think the casting of the Freddy, actually all the kids were great, but the Freddy kid was really perfect. Good. Like, because he was cute and precious, but also had something creepy,
a little Damien. There's a little Damien.
Yeah. So that was really successful, because when they talk about the aunt, oh, she fell asleep. What the hell? Like, I don't know. The kid was precious. The kid.
There's one scene where he backs away from what's going on. He backs into the curtains, like back behind the curtains, and it was really, really. It was macabre and interesting. It was, there's for me, the direction is top notch. Emma Tammy did a wonderful job handling this material, and
some of the shots were just gorgeous too, Doc. Like, I was like, look at the lighting there. That's really beautiful. Oh my gosh. Like, okay, look, like I said, every single issue that I have with this film is about the story. I cannot believe that
it's all about how they adapted it, right? So
yes, the play for it. No. That is so unacceptable to me. And then at the end, to save everybody, she's got to draw the best picture of her life, so everyone can survive and they can understand what really happened to them.
You didn't like that?
I thought that was great.
I thought it was fantastic.
No.
Because it was because she was drawing all along. She was always drawing, always coloring. So it made perfect sense for the script, the story they were telling.
I'm interested to see, like, were they okay? So in the lore, Elizabeth, who would kind of be Vanessa's character, but it's not Vanessa. Vanessa was another security guard, becomes Circus Baby, which is the animatronic that they tried to, you know how they were so, you know, like that spring trap stuff, that's actually what like traps them. And then I think it like releases their remnant, which is what captures their soul or so. I don't know exactly how, I don't remember exactly how all that stuff works, but she was supposed to be Circus Baby. And I thought they were going to make Abby Circus Baby.
And did we see Circus Baby in the movie? Is that the one that's laying down?
Yeah, that's
the one that they tried to put her into, the little girl.
Yeah, right.
So like Circus Baby's pretty cool. She's pretty evil.
Yeah, there's definitely, my son says there's definitely more characters to come.
So if all this stuff happens and you take this woman to the hospital, how do you explain everything that happened in that building? Can someone please?
Oh, you could blame it on the dad, maybe.
Well, you probably
but wouldn't they they said the dad just ran off. Then I guess.
Well, I mean, in the story, she's a police officer, so she could say what she wanted, and they would take
well,
it.
she was in a coma.
But she wasn't
so
even awake. Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true. So they have to believe him. Okay. Well, maybe she didn't go into the coma until.
Well, also,
she wasn't in a coma when they walked out. But.
Also, that opening thing where he punched the guy in the fountain just because
it was over the
That
top.
was stupid.
Okay. No, but also let me tell you, really, like he had already had the fear of losing Abby when she got shocked.
Oh, I understand that.
Okay, and then yet he's going to be like, okay, I'll give up Abby.
Give up
I can
Abby
know what
for my
happened to
brother.
my brother.
Who's been
I'm sorry,
I
y'all,
hated
but
that.
there are some parts of the story that are truly
that's just bad
I
storytelling.
don't understand. Yes, it is.
Regardless
and that is
of
the problem.
lore or anything.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's not good.
I don't know,
is.
Jeff. Did you have a problem with that?
Which part?
When he decided that he wanted to go ahead and
In the dream world.
have his brother back and give up Abby.
It didn't bother me. I mean, I'm like going, no, don't do that. I mean, I didn't think it was bad storytelling.
I think I would have been pissed off if he hadn't realized what he had done.
He's
right
being
away,
affected by that. It wasn't just a straight. There's some supernatural
shiznit going on.
Yep.
Okay.
Shenanigans. I mean, I didn't.
If you're trying, I guess
you're gonna trade trade the living sibling for the dead sibling.
Well, this is something that's haunted him since he was what? How old?
That's
so I'm
ridiculous,
gonna this person that I'm trying to build a relationship.
I didn't think it was. I mean,
yeah, it's just bad.
I didn't think it was.
It's ridiculous.
It made me mad.
Okay.
It
really
pulled me out of the movie.
Yeah, me too.
It pulled me out of the movie.
I was like, really, dude? Like, is there something? It just makes him. It makes his character just completely unhinged.
I think I would agree with you if he didn't realize his mistake right away. I mean, as soon as he did,
he didn't realize it.
But he did. He did realize it right away.
No,
yeah.
not fast enough, and that's ridiculous. Come on.
I thought he
Let me tell you,
did.
I have 2 children, and that would never happen. So I'm just saying.
But this is siblings, not children. So, but I get what you're saying.
He has spent way more time with his sister than he ever did with that little brother.
But he's also been pressured into not, being. There's so many psychological aspects going into him about his capability of raising her anyway. So to me, it was all built there. I think the story supported everything that.
That's the
yeah.
About as supportive as a rickety bridge. It's not.
Yeah,
I think it's easy to say that because they tell you that about this character, but there's not enough there to really make sense.
They show you over and over.
The reality is they didn't need it. They didn't need it. These characters don't ask for children. They take children. That's what they do. They're animatronics programmed to kidnap and murder children. And yet they turn this into this.
They weathered that down. They left that with just the rabbit guy.
If you go ahead and take Abby, please. But we're going to murder everybody else that comes in here. And we're going to put I'm assuming, I don't know what that mask was that they put on the dudes, but I think they're remnant collectors. And then we're going to murder you with this. The freaking animatronics are like they're like bipolar. I mean, it makes me crazy. I'm like,
was there a dream connection in the games? Or is that something they made from the movie?
No, that's something they did.
That's
felt
something
like with that trauma.
Feel like, we have a villain named Freddy, so we're gonna have him go into your dreams.
Oh wow, I didn't even put that together.
Freddy's nightmares.
That's funny because that's how I did my review. I was like, "You ready for Freddy?"
Oh wow,
not that Freddy.
I saw your review. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Thank you.
Yeah. Check that out. What's the name of your site that you have that on?
Gothic Cottage. Thank you, Doc.
Check it out. All right.
Of the name. Gothic Cottage?
I'm like, I feel like it's weird promoting it or saying it. I'm like, well, if you want to watch it, it's cool.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's get a score 1 to 5 and
1 to 5.
Scene. And did we pick Jeff first? We did, right, Jeff?
You did. You did.
Oh no. Oh shit. What?
I get to pick the first favorite scene. I'm giving this a 3.5. And
nice.
I thought you'd go higher.
I'm gonna go. Oh, it's so easy. I was gonna take the one everybody keeps talking about, but I'm gonna take a different one. When the cupcake hits the big yellow rabbit.
Oh yeah.
And
there's a sentence I didn't think we would have this year.
The after effects with the spring locks, what they started doing to him. I thought that was awesome. That was great.
I like that.
I was picturing it. I knew there was gore in there. We just couldn't see it.
Oh, there was implied.
Actually, it's clever. It was a clever way to like imply because you could feel it, you know.
Well, okay, so the sound effects, right?
Yeah, the sound really helped this film a lot. I'm going to give this a 3. It's perfectly mid, a little better than mid, really, but because it's far advanced in its cinematography and animatronics and stuff. Okay. So I'm not taking the whole scene. You know, obviously when the people break in, you know, that's probably the best part of the movie for me, of course. But really, I'll just take a portion of it. So in case anyone wants, it's when the guy, you see him on the security footage and he's screaming and he's running through the like a little girl. He's screaming like a little girl. Ah!
Yeah.
And then he's like, ah!
The big burly biker kind of guy, right?
Yeah. That was hilarious.
Trying to find his way out and he can't do it.
I was dying. I like just the way he screams through the whole place. I thought was really funny.
I'm so happy you picked that. That was a fun scene. I enjoyed that. All right, Christopher G. Mohr, you're up next. Your score and favorite scene?
Well, let's spit the cheese and Chuck E. Cheese. I'm going to give this a 2.5. It's middle.
Wow.
Yeah.
It didn't. I mean, the stuff looked cool, but it's just. It's about as dead as the. Well, I can't say that. That's horrible. It's about as dead as the characters inside.
I know where you're going there. Yeah.
Yeah. Dead as Garrett, right?
I just embarrassed myself by being so morbidly joking. As for, I'll say, let me just say, I agree with you, Jock. I was like, let's see more Matthew Lillard, especially that one long monologue thing that happens.
Oh yeah.
Without giving anything away. That just reminded me of like Scream and other films.
And then they had the Scream reference of him.
He had a callback, right?
They did.
They
did. And I was like,
about I'll be back, right?
I love that.
I always come back.
But I'll say when the bunny character enters.
You mother.
Because that was the only time where I felt any kind of real menace or scariness from it, because he was so big.
Yes.
And that character was so big when it came in, it almost like a kaiju in the middle of it. And I was like, okay, now this felt like a Slender Man moment. I was like, that's the only time where it's like that. Now we're bringing the creepy. If we had more of that, the film would have been much better for me. So I'd say, sorry to steal your moment, Doc.
You stole it. Oh my God.
But yeah, just that the visual of him walking in that room was like, okay, now we're playing with fire.
And he had to kind of lean over to get in.
Yeah, he's like leaning over because he was walking so tall, and I was like, holy crap, that's kind of creepy and scary for once, as opposed to just being cheesy.
I guess we'll get more of that in 2
So he wasn't in the costume when he was driving the car, apparently.
Apparently not.
Don't inject logic into this movie.
I thought we were talking logic before.
It's logicless. It's like a back computer. It has no pro logic in it.
Maybe he did. You never know. All right. I'm talking about embarrass yourself. I'm going to give it 4 1/4. I really liked it.
Dear God. Wow.
I really had a great time.
Good for you.
Remember this, Doc.
What's that?
I said, I'm going to remember this one.
To me,
not that it's bad.
I'm shocked.
Emma Tammy did a great job directing it. I think she's a talent to watch out for. The animatronics really won me over. It's not my favorite scene, but I could pick it as a favorite scene when when they built the fort. I know, Crystal, you didn't like that, but I thought that was so interesting and so kind of. But I'm gonna pick a scene that I think you'll like, Crystal, since Christopher took my scene. It's after they burk the ant. and they get a cab ride back from the house to Freddy, and she gets in the cab, and the guy's like, and then all of a sudden the car goes, and then he looks back and he goes, oh Jesus! He says something. It was PG-13. He could have done something very, very hard there. They could have gotten away with their one F-bomb in that scene, I think, or the credits at the end credits. But I thought it was just the idea of that crazy ass big.
I love how they made him feel so heavy.
Yes,
they did it on multiple occasions, like where they made him, like with the steps. It's like, duh, duh.
Even the one that didn't have much of its outer thing. It was like robot feet, the metal feet only.
Which one is Foxy?
Is that Foxy?
Yeah.
Foxy felt heavy too.
Foxy is my favorite.
I just kept thinking, how is this thing paying for the cab? Is it just like got a big bag of quarters? I know. The
Laurie Stafford was a bag of quarters somewhere. So, there's Freddy and there's Foxy.
Bonnie.
What's Bonnie?
Bonnie and Chica.
That's the
Bonnie is the
blue bunny. The blue bunny, right?
What's the little tiny figure?
Okay, see,
I heard that plays into stuff, right?
Okay, I think I don't know what the name is, but I think it's a.
Well,
no.
Well, but what is the cupcake? Is the cupcake a baby
That's
head?
what I'm talking about, the baby.
Oh, I think we're talking about the little thing that was in the.
We're talking about the little guy that kept showing up and like.
That's the balloon boy. That's balloon boy. Okay. That's another one. Sorry, you talking about the one that was like supposed to be like the jump scare.
Is the cupcake is the cupcake a baby?
Yeah, I think the cupcake's a baby.
Because I was like, how are you going to fit like a little?
Yeah,
I kept thinking, wow, that's such a little thing.
If it is what I think it is, there was one where they accidentally absorbed a baby.
Oh God!
And so I think that's
how do you accidentally?
Wow,
I don't know. Like,
it's hard to believe this is for children because it's so.
Yeah,
so
but I'm not completely sure that is still the lore with that. But one of the. God, I can't even remember. I can't remember who it was. Went to kind of like hug one, and
This is made when Santos was a kid.
Yeah. But if you think about it, it makes sense because I don't. Yeah.
Well, I think I've earned my Blumhouse card tonight, haven't I, Crystal?
Yeah, you have. No, I mean, but it's a very well made movie, and I got to be honest with you, it was very exciting to see it come to life on screen. That was cool. I mean, they did a good job. I just
considering all these movies they made, they were basically ripoffs of it in the last year or so with like the Banana Splits and was it Willy's Wonderland? It's you kind of think, well, maybe people are burnt out on it, but the fan base has always been there, and I think it kind of proved that the IP works.
Yeah,
they have like 13 games. There's 13 games.
Oh wow, is there really? And we gotta. I mean, give them props. They were saying they were going to make like 40 million, and they were like, oh wow, this movie's going to make 40 million, and it made almost 80 in the States, and it made over 100 worldwide, off of $20 million. So it's
they've been making a lot of money off of merch and stuff for this for years. So it's actually they have all these books and stuff
and toys and it's
I've got the Christmas wrapping paper from last year from Walmart. Remember when I brought that up to y'all? I was like, oh yeah, you can get the black light reactive Five Nights at Freddy Christmas wrapping paper.
And it was Walmart. Day and date, and people still want to see it. So I mean, that's rather huge. I don't know.
Well, it's a Halloween weekend. That's true. Who's going to go to the movies Halloween weekend? Five Nights at Freddy fans. So it's proved everybody wrong that you just got to be behind what people really love and try to do something that's kind of in the ballpark.
I feel like they're gonna, and I'm hoping that they're gonna push the limits a little bit harder on the next film.
Well, they kind of have a license to at this point.
Yeah, because I hope.
Same with Megan, they have a license to do it with Megan too. So.
Well, the director said they're probably not going to make an expanded R-rated version of this one, so I'm sure they're going to probably still keep them PG-13 for future.
Oh yeah, I don't think
as long as they're going to make all this money, they're not going to really go.
They'll just push the boundaries a little bit. I mean, they didn't even drop an F-bomb in this, and you can drop an F-bomb.
They said asshole, but can I say that? Oops, sorry.
Yeah, you can say
but
that.
Yeah, they said they said that, but that's all I heard.
You couldn't say any of that shit when I was a kid. They couldn't run around with skulls on our pajamas either, or anything like that.
Yeah. Yep.
You can only say the word asshole if you were in, Wanda. Was it the asshole? Sorry, Fish Called Wanda.
Fish Called Wanda, yeah.
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
Is it a good movie? Is it a horror
movie?
It's
a great movie. No, it's not a horror movie.
Have you never seen Fish Called Wanda?
Mm-mm.
It's a comedy. It's got Kevin Kline.
That makes sense.
Totally.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
All right, I'll watch it.
We call that aggressive.
John Cleese in that, or was he?
Yeah.
Kevin Kline won an Academy Award for his role in that.
All right. Well, that's our review.
That's a weird.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
I'll watch it.
Speaking of Kevin Kline, no.
Is there something else?
We know you saw the movie. Let us know what you think of it down below. Do you think they screwed up the mythology? It doesn't matter. Did you have a good time? Are you a new horror fan? We want to know. I want to know how many people became horror fans because of this movie. Imagine it's a few. All right, Crystal, Christopher, Jeff, thank you for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
You do that.
I gotta call my grandkids now and find out.
You do
what they thought.
Yeah, I'm curious too. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween. Let's say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Sleep.
Gruesome Magazine.